Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who has spent the past few months saying things that make Trump really angry, like that the election wasn't stolen, that trying to overthrow the government is bad, and that Twitter is still fun without him. Whew. Now, what made this especially ballsy is that Cheney was saying all of this while holding the number 3 position in the party's congressional leadership, which was making everyone in the GOP pretty uncomfortable. I mean, here they are trying to move past the attempted coup and focus on looking forward to the next attempted coup. But Cheney just wouldn't let it go. So today, they decided to overthrow her.
More breaking news from the Hill. Last hour, Liz Cheney was voted out as House Republican Conference Chair. She was number 3 in leadership. That position is no longer hers.
House Republicans are expected to replace Cheney with New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. She has emerged as one of former President Trump's top defenders.
Cheney spoke to cameras briefly afterwards.
We cannot both embrace the big lie and embrace the Constitution. I will do everything I can to ensure that the former president never again gets anywhere near the Oval Office.
Okay. Wow, I respect Liz Cheney taking a stand against Trump, but it does feel a little less threatening when she's doing it as she's being removed from power, you know? It's got the vibe of a villain falling into a volcano while saying, "This isn't over." My man, it's over. No, it's over. So, forced to choose between a party leader who told the truth about the election and a party leader who claims that the election shouldn't count because too many people voted, the GOP chose the lie. And if you want an idea of where the GOP is headed, well, there may be no better clue than the person who's expected to replace Cheney in party leadership, New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, who just happens to be the subject in our latest installment of Fringe Watching. Given the state of the Republican Party right now, you might think that the person they're replacing Liz Cheney with would be a 180-proof Trumpist from the heart of MAGA country. But actually, for most of her political career, Elise Stefanik was the exact opposite.
Elise Stefanik was not always considered a Trump Republican. Stefanik was seen as a moderate when, in 2014, she won a House race in upstate New York at age 30.
She was the youngest woman ever elected to Congress when she first won this office. And at that time, she was a pretty classic East Coast moderate conservative.
In 2015, 2016, and the early days of the Trump administration, Stefanik repeatedly and publicly opposed Trump.
Opposing him on NAFTA and trade, even voting against his signature 2017 tax cuts.
She also criticized Trump's initiative to build a wall, saying, quote, "I don't think that's realistic." In 2015, Stefanik also disagreed with Trump's calls for a Muslim ban, saying, "This is not who we are as a country." And Stefanik wrote this after the release of the Access Hollywood tape. Donald Trump's inappropriate, offensive comments are just wrong.
I've disagreed with the president's rhetoric numerous times when it comes to how he addresses women.
So Elise Stefanik didn't like Trump's tax cuts, didn't like his trade deals, didn't like his Muslim ban, didn't like his sexism, didn't even like his wall. She basically didn't like anything about Trump, which is insane. I mean, you expect that from Trump's wife, but not a Republican congresswoman. So for a while, Stefanik was pretty much what used to be called a normal Republican. And then in late 2019, she saw an opportunity to make like Billie Eilish and give herself an eye-catching new image.
Elise Stefanik became the breakout star of the House hearings for Trump's first impeachment, often tangling with Democrats.
To have our Democratic colleagues say these untruthful statements just reeks of political desperation in their continued obsession to manipulate mainstream media coverage.
Trump was so impressed at the time, he tweeted, "A new Republican star is born." After Trump lost and started pushing the big lie, Elise Stefanik signed on, fighting to overturn the 2020 electoral results in both Pennsylvania and Texas. As this newly minted version of Stefanik moved ever closer to Trump's orbit, her fundraising exploded, and so did her profile. Stefanik became a regular on Fox News, and her cheerleading for Team Trump moved into hyperdrive. Stefanik was clearly on Trump's radar, even if he couldn't pronounce her name.
Elise Stefanik.
Look, you can't take offense to that. Trump pronounces words like a great jazz musician. You'll never hear it the same way twice. Now, to outsiders, this might have seemed like Stefanik suddenly embracing the dark side, like Anakin turning into Darth Vader, except for the part about wearing a mask. But the truth is, she probably just made a straightforward calculation. She saw where the party was going, and she decided to go along with it. It's just a little awkward to start rooting for someone after they've been publicly disgraced. I never really liked R. Kelly's music, but now that I've heard the charges against him, it's kind of dope. It's the Mr. the kitchen. I mean, like, are you guys hearing this? And once Stefanik hopped on the Trump train, she never looked back. In fact, these days, it can sometimes be hard to tell her and Trump apart.
Democrats are obsessed with impeachment.
They have been obsessed with impeachment.
The phony Russia hoax.
The phony Russia hoax of Russia collusion.
We need election integrity and election reform immediately.
We want to be able to fix and strengthen our election security and election integrity.
Sleepy Joe rejects the scientific approach in favor of locking all Americans in their basements for months on end.
Joe Biden wants to keep them locked up in the basement.
Damn. This goes way beyond just agreeing with Trump. It actually sounds like she's preparing to play Trump in a movie. I must become Trump. This is my process. So, in the end, Elise Stefanik surrendered her principles, her dignity, and even her voice to Donald Trump. And what did that get her? Enormous amounts of cash, the support of a passionate base of voters, the inside track to a powerful position in party leadership? Yes, it gave her all those things. But was it worth it? Because it seems like it was kind of worth it. I mean, god damn.